What's up, guys? This is the Osmo.com Night Shift Podcast. Talking some 14-game MLB slate for Friday, September 21st. Lots to talk about. We will have the ownership projections, rankings. You can go to the lineup builder on the homepage on Osmo.com if you're looking to hand build some lineups. We will have Osmo's top stack article that will come out around 4 Eastern, maybe a little bit later. Ownership projections, I mentioned, those are my favorite things. I look at those pretty much all day from the strategy video on. Strategy video will be with myself and Josh, and then live stream with Chris and myself at 6 Eastern after the deeper dive. Deep dive article will be written by, I believe it's going to be Laffy. I can never get their schedule right. But anyways, there will be a deep dive article, and then the deeper dive show will be with Admin Laffy, as it always is. All right, let's get into this. We've got 14 games to go through. Just going to talk about anything notable, any ownership things, or possible stacks or pitcher plays that I think are somewhat interesting about 24 hours out. Orioles and Yankees, we have Jeffrey Ramirez going up against CC Sabathia. Ramirez is 4,800. Really no interest in him at all. He really struggles with lefties, a 30% line drive rate against them. So guys like Gregorius and Hicks are going to be at the top of my list here. But, I mean, even when you get past Jeffrey, who I don't think is the worst pitcher in the world, especially not to righties, this bullpen is so bad. It's one that I want to consistently pick on for the rest of the season for Baltimore. It's in Yankee Stadium. The wind is blowing out to left, it looks like. So pretty good news for right-handed pull hitters like Stanton. It just seems like a really bad matchup for Ramirez, and the 5.8 implied total definitely shows that for the Yankees. Sabathia, 7,500. Someone that I'm probably going to leave in my player pool. And I think he's going to be a good pivot to Godley if Godley's going to be the chalk in this range, which I think he will be. 3.4 implied total for the Orioles is certainly appealing. CC has been able to miss bats lately. He's struggled in his last 3 starts. But you can afford a couple earned runs here, I think, at this price. And the strikeouts have been there, especially against bad teams like the White Sox a couple weeks ago. Orioles, the start before that, had 8 strikeouts. So I could certainly see a pretty good start for CC Sabathia at low ownership. Mets and Nationals, we got Jacob deGrom going up against Joe Ross. deGrom, 12-4, going into D.C. with the wind blowing out in 80 degrees. Man, it's going to be tough. I don't think deGrom's going to have very high ownership here, and I think he's appealing for that reason. Coming off a 12-strikeout outing after a 7-inning, 9K game against the Marlins. 12 strikeouts against the Red Sox is really tough to do. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. No issue using him. I think I prefer him over Garrett Cole at this point. Actually, not even I think. I definitely do prefer him over Garrett Cole, just thinking about the possible ownership. Ross on the other side, 5,500. He has been good. There's no doubt. I guess he was good in his last start, I should say. He went 5 innings with... oh, wait. Did he have 0 strikeouts in that game? No, that's not right. Let's see. Looks like this one website is... Let's see here. Joe Ross. All right. Fangraphs is usually a good tool for this. Oh, he did have 0 strikeouts. Interesting. Okay. So maybe he hasn't been as good as I was thinking of, or I clicked on the wrong box score, but I guess I'm in late season mail-it-in form or something, because I was looking at different plate discipline stuff for Joe Ross. So anyways, he had an 8.1% swinging strike rate in that start. I don't think he should have had no strikeouts against the Cubs, so he's not like he can't miss any bats at all. 31% chase rate is pretty decent. Went 5 innings, but just 74 pitches, so that's a little bit of a concern even at 5,500. Probably going to lay off both Ross and the Mets bats besides Jay Bruce for 3,600. Brewers and Pirates, we've got Julius Chassin going up against Ivan Nova. This one I don't think is super interesting at all. I like lefty power against Ivan Nova. I don't want to play either pitcher. And it's going to rain too, it looks like. Wind blowing out and near 80 degrees and humid in Pittsburgh, so it's pretty good hitting weather. So give me Christian Yelich, give me Curtis Granderson, and maybe a Shaw or Moustakas. But this isn't a game I see myself having a ton of exposure to really anywhere. So I guess we can just move on. I'm guessing Josh is going to be on the same page with me. I just don't want to target against Brewers bullpen. Nova is fine against righties. He's pretty bad against lefties. So it's a pretty easy game to go through. Rays and Blue Jays, we have, I don't know who it's going to be for Tampa Bay. I don't see a starter listed on Fangraphs. And then I know it's not going to be Snell or Glasnow, but I don't know who's going to come in. It's not going to be Chirinos. It's going to be maybe Yarbrough, but I think he would be on short rest, so I can't really figure out who it's going to be that comes in long relief. Anyways, we'll figure that out in the morning. And then Reed Foley has been good. He's got 2 double-digit strikeout performances and 5 starts at the MLB level this year. His stuff is obviously very good, but this isn't that great of a matchup. He's 6,400, so you certainly can play him. I mean, he's got the ability to go over 100 pitches, so that's appealing at this price in itself. He is at home. There's no line out for this game yet. I'm assuming the roof will be closed. There's a chance of rain. But if it's not, it looks like huge winds blowing in Toronto. Almost like, looks like a typo. 24 miles an hour right now. Interesting. So yeah, Reed Foley is the one guy I think I will have exposure to in this game, and then we'll wait on the Tampa pitcher discussion until tomorrow. Royals and Tigers, we have Ian Kennedy going up against Francisco Liriano. Kennedy 7,100, Liriano 6K. Another game where I don't see myself playing much of anything. So there's always one-off bats and you're playing 150 lineups. But if I was single entering, the only guy I think I would have exposure to in this game, or that would be like if I'm making 1 to 5 lineups, let's say, I think the only guy or couple guys that I would play here are Whit Merrifield and Mondesi for the Royals 1-2. I just love those two guys because of their stolen base upside. They can hit righties or lefties, Merrifield especially with the lefties. So I really like him here. But I don't see much on the Tiger side I want to play. And maybe that'll change by tomorrow once I start crunching lineups. But Kennedy, he can miss some bats, but he does give up hard contact. If Candelario is in the lineup, I think he makes for an interesting play just because the wind's blowing out. He's got some power, and it's blowing straight out to right at over 15 miles an hour. So pretty good hitting environment for the Tigers, but I just don't see myself getting to them on this slate. All right. Red Sox and Indians, best starting pitcher matchup on the night. Chris Sale going up against Trevor Bauer. Sale is just 10-8 on DK. Looks like he's going to be closer to full strength here. So he pitched by time you listen to this, well, by Friday, it'll be 5 days rest or 4 days rest. So it'll be 5 days since he started, and he threw 42 pitches in 3 innings. They're not going to be like super aggressive with Sale. I don't think there's really any reason to be aggressive when you're the best team in the MLB. So I don't think he's going to go very long here. Wind is blowing in. It's raining in Cleveland. So who knows if this game even plays. But I'm kind of just crossing this one off all around. I mean, Bauer coming back off a long layoff. I haven't checked to see if he's made rehab starts. I can check that right now. But, you know, unless he's somewhat stretched out for 10-3, I don't think there's a chance that I can get to him. I didn't hear about him making any rehab starts, but let me check on that really quick. Yeah, he did not. So he hasn't pitched since August 11th. So that's what I thought. All right, there we go. He was lighting the league on fire. So I'd love to play Bauer. I just can't if I don't know how many innings he's going to go, and it's against the Red Sox. So it's just not a good matchup. He can't go deep unless we hear otherwise, and that would be pretty surprising. But the Indians aren't going to be super aggressive with him either, and there's really no reason they should be. So probably crossing off both pitchers here. Reds and Marlins, we have Luis Castillo going up against the home version of Wei Yin Chen. So just an elite ace there for Chen. I don't have a problem using him here. He's an underdog, but that's because Castillo's on the other side. Just been so much better at home. The one guy, whenever it's a lefty against the Red Sox that you're worried about is Eugenio Suarez. But the wind is blowing in. It's obviously a big park in Miami, and Chen has just, for whatever reason, been so good at home that kind of doesn't really make sense. I guess it's a big park and he's a fly ball pitcher, but he's just got enormous splits the entire season. Castillo, 8,800 against a bunch of righties here. He's going to see pretty much all righties besides Sierra if he's in, and Riddle if he's in the lineup as well. Not the two most discouraging hitters when you're talking about Luis Castillo. On the season, he has a 322 xFIP with under 35% hard contact, a 20.7% line drive rate against righties, and he's also striking them out nearly 25% of the time. He's 8,800 here. I think he will see decent ownership, or I should say, I think his ownership will be not out of hand because we've got guys like Godley and Chen at cheaper price points. So I don't think that Castillo is going to see a bunch of ownership here, which is appealing because he does have 10 strikeout upside, but I don't know. It just doesn't really do anything for me at nearly 9K on DraftKings. When we were getting him before at 6K, I mean, I had no issue firing up Luis Castillo, but he hasn't really taken that next step as like a consistent, like even number 2 starter. So I don't know. I'm just a little disappointed in Castillo's production this year. Thought we'd see more consistency and more swinging strikes and all that stuff. But anyways, I think he's fine. It's just not someone that I'm forcing into my lineups. There's no way. Philly and Atlanta, we've got Nick Pivetta going up against Julio Teheran. Pivetta, $7,300 on DK, coming off a nice start against the Marlins. An abbreviated start. He only went 80 pitches in 5 innings with 8 Ks. He was cruising, got pulled for whatever reason. But he is on the road here. Don't like him as much on the road. All these Phillies pitchers pitch much better at home, so whenever I get him outside the road, and Pavetta's a guy who does have home run problems, I'm looking at Freeman. I like Ozzie Albies here a lot for 4,400, and then even Tyler Flowers for 3,600. Always don't mind putting him in my lineups when I'm stacking up a couple of Braves. Teheran is 8,300, coming off a start where he had a 20+% swinging strike rate against the Nationals. Now, he only went 4 innings and walked 6, so you see his stuff can get away from him pretty easily. So he's not the safest pitcher, but I do like him. You get the Phillies outside of home, just a 4-run total here, and Teheran's at a pretty decent price. So he's going to be someone that I play quite a bit of. I don't expect him to have a lot of ownership. He can go over 100 pitches. This is probably going to be a game that Atlanta needs. I know they've got quite a good cushion as far as being up on the Phillies in the division, but you'd still obviously like to have this game for the Braves. And I think Teheran can strike out quite a few guys here. So I'm on him. I'm hoping not many people are. Mariners and Rangers, we have Erasmo Ramirez going up against Connor Sadzik. This one is all hitting, but I don't even know if this game's going to play. Looks like a pretty reasonable chance that this one gets postponed or it has some weather concerns. It's a 10.5 total right now with 5.6 runs going to the Mariners. I love all these guys against Sadzik. Not a guy I really respect. Rangers bullpen, not a bullpen I respect. Great hitters park. It's humid, so if this one goes, you can stack up all the Mariners. You can stack up all the Rangers. Love them whenever they're at home. Gallo's up to 5K. That's kind of crazy. I don't want to play or pay 5K for Gallo if he's chalk. He's just as likely to strike out 4 times as he is to hit 2 home runs. But anyways, Rougned Odor for 4,200 and Nomar Mazara stand out to me at 4,300 against Erasmo. Angels and Astros, we have Andrew Heaney going up against Garrett Cole. Heaney 7,900 on DK. I like the stack against Heaney quite a bit. So, like, his thing is he does give up hard contact to righties. There's no doubt about that. 40% on the season. A bunch of line drives. He does get strikeouts, but against a patient Astros team that's filled with good righties, 1 through 6, Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Gonzalez, Tyler White, Carlos Correa, and these guys are pretty affordable. Bregman's the only one that's over 4,700 in that range, so I'm on the Astros. Wind blowing out here, so if the roof is open, it's 84 degrees, humid in Houston, that would be really nice hitting weather. Cole is 12K, and so I was thinking about, is there any way that Garrett Cole actually hurts me if I fade him here? He's not going very deep, hasn't gone over 100. He's gone over 100 pitches in 1 out of his last 8 starts. The strikeout numbers are there. He's getting 7, 8, 9 strikeouts pretty much every start. But since that 60-point performance, what was that, May 4th, Cole has gone over 30 points, 30 DK points twice. So, I mean, even if he gets 30, I still don't think he's going to hurt me if I fade him. I don't like paying for a 12K pitcher that doesn't have a ton to play for. I guess Houston still could miss the playoffs. They are in a wild card race, but they do have a really solid bullpen behind them. So if where is Houston as far as the standings? Now that I'm saying that, I thought me and Josh looked this up, but anyways, I don't think Cole really hurts me if I fade him here, is what I'm trying to say. The Angels aren't that great of a strikeout matchup. Anyways, yeah, Houston's got a pretty good stranglehold on the division. Looks like a 4-game lead over the Athletics as of this recording, so they're going to the playoffs. There's pretty much no doubt about it. So if Cole gets in any kind of trouble, he's just not a super high upside arm, I don't think, here for 12K. So I'm going to be off Cole. I'm going to go to DeGrom in this range, and I think that's going to be lower owned. Giants and Cardinals, we have Madison Bumgarner going up against John Gant. Bumgarner, 9K. Too tough of a matchup for me to want to play him here. Just gets a bunch of good power righties like Yachty and Jose Martinez. I like DeJong. I like Marcell Ozuna. So I think I'm going to a Cardinal stack before I play Bumgarner here. I'm probably gonna have 0 Bumgarner on this slate if I had to make that call right now. Gant is 6,900 here. The only reason I'm looking at Gant is because first of all, it's a really good matchup, so I guess there's 2 reasons. And he's a decent pivot to Godley if Godley becomes the chalk. Gant can get some strikeouts, and the Giants will certainly help you in that area. They just provide no pop. They're a team I want to continue to target for the rest of the season. 26% K rate against righties over the last month. 66 WRC plus against them. 109 ISO. I mean, just anemic numbers for the Giants. It doesn't matter if they're in AT&T or out of it. They're just not a good ball club. All right, Rockies and Diamondbacks. We have German Marquez, our favorite, going up against Zach Godley, my former favorite. So Marquez is 10-5 here. I don't think that's overpriced at all. I mean, just look at his game logs. I know he wasn't perfect in that last start against the Giants, but man, he only got 9.5 points. I must have lost a lot of money that night. But been riding Marquez forever, and I just think he is at the ace level. So you're getting a discount on him. This park is not as hitter friendly as we've seen in the past. in Arizona. I don't know how he's not a favorite here. That's kind of ridiculous. But anyways, it's not a bad strikeout matchup. He's 10-5, and I think he should be at least 1,000 more. So give me Marquez. I'm going to have a bunch of exposure to him. I hope people get off of him after that last start, because I certainly will not be off of him. His stuff is electric, and there's really only a couple guys I'm worried about, and those guys are mostly from the right side. This bottom of the order with Avila, Ahmed, Souza, Descalso, there's strikeout potential. You've got the pitcher spot. I'm talking myself into a lot of Marquez. Not that I need to be talked into him, because I jumped on him pretty quick, but hoping some people jumped ship on Marquez. Godley is 7,200, going to be pretty chalky, I would think. You get Colorado outside of Coors against a righty, and that's been super profitable. Godley has had a rough stretch, there's no doubt about it, but he's still been able to miss bats. And I just think he should go and mow down this team. So I'm expecting a low-scoring game. I don't really want bats in this one. Certainly don't want bats on the Arizona side against Marquez. But if Godley is super chalky here, I could see myself going to a Blackmon as a one-off. But I'd much, much rather play Godley. No issue playing both sides of this one as far as pitchers go. All right, Twins and Athletics. It looks like it's going to be Barrios going for the Twins, and then Liam Hendricks is opening for the Athletics. I don't know who's coming in after him. Barrios 9,200, and this is just not a good spot for him. Some lefties, Olsen and Lowry, that I'm worried about. Bunch of power on this Oakland team. It is a good park, but you're not really getting that big of a discount on Barrios. So he's going to be a pretty easy pass for me. If I'm going to this range, well, I'm probably not going to this range, but if I am, I'd rather just play the guy that we'll talk about next in Rich Hill. I think he's much safer and in a much, much better matchup. Don't want to target this Oakland bullpen, so the Twins bats are probably going to be off the table for me in this bad park as well. All right, last game of the night, Padres and Dodgers. We have Eric Lauer going up against Rich Hill. Lauer is 5,600, but again, I just don't really target against this Dodgers team, and Lauer is just... I think Lauer is one of the worst pitchers that we have on the slate, probably the worst pitcher on the slate. His numbers against righties are atrocious on the season. I mean, he strikes out 21% of them. He's not going to strike out a lot of righties here. He's going to see 9 of them. 156 whip, 31% line drive rate, 424 xFIP, and then 41% hard contact, very little soft contact against righties for Lauer. He's just, I don't know how he survives here. The only bad part about the Dodgers stack, I think, is that San Diego does have a good bullpen. But if they get to Lauer early, they probably won't see the top end arms in that. So I'm firing up a bunch of Dodgers stacks. I mean, the most expensive guy here is Puig, but he's 5,200, and then there's a drop off to Machado at 4,800, Turner 4,700, Matt Kemp still underpriced at 4,100, Kike dual position eligibility for 4,100, Dozier looking to lead off at 4,100. That's going to be chalky, but I don't know how chalky the Dodgers will be as a whole. I'm interested to see that. All right, so join us tomorrow. That'll do it for the night shift. Come hang out in the live stream chat. Come spend some of your NFL Showdown dollars. Come spend some of your NHL preseason dollars, and we will see you tomorrow.